How long does it take for one to be public enemy number one of two entire countries? To be denounced by your own home country and even have a minister apologize on your behalf? Well, it all just took 1.5 minutes for a Singaporean-born stand-up comedian after she made a series of jokes about Malaysia that many felt were distasteful and that she went overboard with the jokes.
Country Singapore, after we gained independence from the British, we were a struggling little nation. In order to survive, we formed a union with a larger, more powerful country, Malaysia. Where are you from, Malaysia or Singapore? Malaysia, okay, yeah. You assholes. When my Prime Minister went on TV to announce that you guys had dumped us, he cried because he thought we're not going to survive without you. But then 40 years later, we became a first world country. And you guys, Malaysia, what are you now? Still a developing country. Boo.
Alright, let's just get this out of the way. Singapore and Malaysia, we do have their rivalry. We do have a palpable tension in the air just because we are so closely related and we're often compared to one another. There's no doubt about that. People are always making comparisons, right, between Singapore and Malaysia. Like, oh, we have the best food. No, Singapore, all your food came from Malaysia. The dishes are the same, blah, blah, blah. And it's fine. It's fun. It's sort of a friendly competition between two brothers. At least that's what I think. I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy. I watch stand-up specials on Netflix all the time, and I love dark humor and banter. So I completely see what she's doing here. It's very common for stand-up comics to craft jokes about their home country, about their roots, right? Where they came from. You know, what they see, what they experience, and their observations. And in this case, Jocelyn is making a joke about the rivalry between Singapore and Malaysia. Like, oh, Malaysia, you guys dumped us, and look at us now, we are a first world country, blah, blah, blah.
And then 40 years later, we became a first world country. And you guys, Malaysia, what are you now? Still a developing country.
But to me, as a Singaporean living in Singapore, it sounded a bit spiteful and salty, and I think the delivery of the joke could have been way better. It's like I couldn't tell if she was telling a joke or just trying to be mean, right? And it's not really the words per se that was mentioned in the joke, it's more of how she was telling the joke. Like that punchline, "Fuck you, assholes."
You assholes.
There's a difference between "fuck you, assholes" and like, "Hey, fuck you, Malaysia, you asshole. How could you leave us like that? We were comfortably suckling on your nipples for that free resource and water, and you had to just rip us off your tit like that? That hurt." You know, you get what I mean? Like, I think that wasn't as offensive. It wasn't offensive, right? Malaysians watching, was that offensive? If it was, I'm sorry. Come, let me suckle on your nipples. But yeah, I do think that no topic is off limits in comedy. But it takes a skilled comedian to be able to turn a sensitive topic into comedy, right? I think magic happens on stage when someone is able to make the person that they are making fun of laugh at themselves because of a great joke. But in this case, Malaysia wasn't laughing.
You, Malaysia. Isn't that the best breakup revenge? Now Malaysia, y'all trying to come around like, hey, Singapore, you're looking good lah. And we're like, I know, but why haven't you visited me in 40 years? And you're like, oh yeah, I tried, but you know, my airplanes cannot fly. What? Malaysian Airlines going missing not funny, huh? Some jokes don't land. This joke killed in Singapore.
Oh, does it?
I get a bad geography from the Malaysians. It's okay, they don't have internet.
Yeah, I actually thought that last joke was funny. Like, that actually was quite a good comeback. I love it when a comedian is able to bounce off the audience with a good comeback. You know, like Andrew Schultz, right? His crowd work is amazing. A lot of people are saying that she isn't funny, but I have to disagree. I actually do think she's quite funny. Like, I have watched some of her videos on YouTube, and I found myself laughing at some of her routines. I do think she's funny. So I disagree with the people saying that, oh, she shouldn't be a comedian, she should just retire, she's not funny, you know, why is she even doing stand-up? I disagree with that because, I mean, obviously those are the people who were offended by her joke, and I totally get that sentiment. I think she just touched on a very sensitive tragedy, and she failed to realize that there is a very real tension between Singapore and Malaysia, right? That rivalry. Like I said, it takes a skilled comedian to twist the narrative of a tragedy into comedy. But her whole routine that we just saw, it just exudes a level of resentment mixed with contempt, which comes across as very distasteful. Or at least that's how she portrays herself to be. But then, people in the crowd were laughing, right? However, I feel like these people were in the US and they may not be so familiar with the rivalry that we share. I feel that the joke on a global context isn't very offensive. Don't get me wrong, it is a terrible joke, but I've heard more offensive jokes than that. However, back where it's closer to home in Malaysia and Singapore, it is offensive. I sound like I've toured the world with my whole comedy routine. Guys, this is just what I think. I'm not an expert stand-up comedian. I'm not Dave Chappelle. I'm just commenting as a stand-up enthusiast. Funny enough, Jocelyn has since disappeared off the face of social media. She deactivated her Instagram account and her Twitter account has been suspended. Or, I don't know, maybe she got kidnapped by you Malaysians? What have you done with her? Give her a good spanking for us, will you? Jocelyn, naughty Jocelyn, huh? Naughty. But hey, this whole thing could be material for a comeback. Like, oh my god, I got cancelled by an entire country. I do, however, think that this has been blown overboard though. Like, even Singapore's Ministry of Foreign Affairs commented on this issue. Like, he had to step in to quell this uprising and make a statement denouncing Jocelyn. Obviously, this is to appease the public, right? And to ensure our everlasting covenant between Malaysia and Singapore. And I get it, we have to make the people united, right? Also, fun fact, apparently Jocelyn isn't a Singaporean anymore. Like, I've read sources online saying that she no longer has a citizenship with Singapore. So hey, it's not our fault. Okay, like, it's not our fault, Malaysia. Jocelyn's not even Singaporean. Don't come for our heads, man. She's not one of us anymore. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. On one hand, I do think there are no limits to comedy, but on the other, I think the joke has to land, right? Apologies, no pun intended. Yeah, in this case, I guess it just didn't land with a lot of people, especially in Singapore and Malaysia. But then again, you know, on a global context, people would still laugh at this joke. So I don't know, where does this stand? Just wanted to talk about this. Bye.